of them, they're Wallahi al-Azim, brothers, any one of you that does that, you need to fear Allah. And you know, Yawm al-Qiyamah, on the day of judgment, you're going to stand in front of your Lord. Al-Dhulm, Dhulumat, Yawm al-Qiyamah. As Allah mentions in Hadith Qudsi, Inni haramtu al-Dhulma ala nafsi. I have made al-Dhulm, oppression, haram on myself. وَجَعَلْتُهُ حَرَامًا بَيْنَكُمْ. And I've made it haram amongst you, i.e. my servants. فَلَا تَظَالِمُوا. So do not oppress. Al-Dhulm, Dhulumat, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Tara, Yawm al-Qiyamah, not a single one of us is going to be left alone.
حركاتهم وهمومهم وعزومهم لله لا للخلق والشيطان نعم الرفيق لطالب السبل التي تفضي إلى الخيرات والإحسان تفضي إلى الخيرات والإحسان.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين ولا عاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make this liqa a beneficial one, to bless us all and to make us from those that are from the inhabitants of Jannat al-Firdaus al-A'la. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to bless you all those that are viewing and watching this. May Allah Azza wa Jal enable all of us to witness Laylatul Qadr in a state of worship. May Allah Azza wa Jal enable us to continue after this blessed month of Ramadan. And I ask Allah Azza wa Jal, the Almighty Jalla Jalaluh, to accept it from us, all that which we put forth in this blessed month of Ramadan. Something of importance, I believe, and inshallah all those viewing find it beneficial, is it's addressed mainly to the sisters, but even the brothers inshallah can benefit. Even the brothers inshallah will be able to benefit. It's a topic of those that get accepted to study in the university, whether it be Madinah, whether it be Jamiat al-Imam, al-Qura, Abdul Aziz, Khalid, any of the universities in Saudi Arabia, or elsewhere, even let's say for example Egypt, or even anywhere else where a brother gets accepted, or maybe they wish to tread that path of seeking knowledge and they want to leave their place of residence, be it in the West or anywhere else. Now the advice is that, from the foremost of advices and the best of advices, that they should fear Allah Azza wa Jal, which is the advice of the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He used to give to his companions to fear Allah Azza wa Jal. You know, ittaqullah haythuma kunt, fear Allah wherever you may be. From that, I advise all the brothers that are going to start this path of getting closer to Allah Azza wa Jal to be sincere. Sincerity is key. Sincerity is key, brothers and sisters. The advice to the sisters that wish to marry, okay, listen up closely, sisters. If you wish to marry brothers that are going to tread this path, where the Prophet ﷺ said in the authentic hadith, "Man salaka tariqan," whoever treads the path, يَلْتَمِسُ فِيهِ عِلْمًا, wishing to seek knowledge, whoever treads the path that wants to seek knowledge, they want to get closer to Allah, they want to, acquire knowledge that will bring them closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, the Almighty. مَنْ سَلَكَ طَرِيقًا يَلْتَمِسُ فِيهِ عِلْمًا. Okay, the reason why they're treading this path, this new journey, is so that they can get closer to Allah, they can acquire knowledge. It's not going to come easy. Hence why, what's the reward? يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله له به أو سهل الله له طريقا إلى الجنة. In that narration, different narrations. So the reward is what? That Allah will make the path to paradise, to Jannah, easy for them. But what's the condition? Now when the ulama, they explain this hadith, and wallahi, from the best of the explanations, there are so many, but from that which I've heard, Shaykhana Shaykh Abdul Muhsin Abbad, and so many other than them, Shaykh Rabi, Shaykh Muhammad bin Hadi, Shaykh Sulaiman, so many benefits. I can't tell you which one is the best, but just summarizing all of them is that the meaning of this is a person wants to get closer to Allah. Okay, they want to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. How are you going to get closer to Allah? كيف يتقي من لا يدري ما يتقي? As Sheikh Abdul Razak would always mention this beautiful statement. How can you fear something or someone if you don't have no knowledge about that person or that thing? So let alone, how can you fear Allah? How can you fear Allah the Almighty if you have no knowledge of Allah Azza wa Jal? It's not possible, is it? So hence why you need that knowledge. You need to acquire those. See it as you need to equip. You need to equip yourself. You need to have that equipment. You're going to equip yourself with certain things, tools, gadgets, and that is knowledge. That's ilm. So when the ulama, they explain it that the person wants to get close to Allah Azza wa Jal. And another authentic hadith, Man yuridillahu bihi khayran yufaqihu fid din. We're going to explain that in a bit. Now, the one that wishes to get closer to Allah, if you want to get closer to Allah the Almighty, you're going to do this by seeking knowledge. But when the ulama, they explain seeking knowledge, they use the other hadith in Sahih Muslim, يعني إن هذا العلم لا يأتي براحة الجسد أو كما قال, that this knowledge does not come by the means of relaxation of the body, meaning to be cool and to be relaxed and to sit back. No, it's going to come with difficulties, awaqib, okay? Things that are going to be on the path that will cause about discord, that will cause about lapsing. You know, when a movie lapses or glitches, it's going to glitch, it's going to twitch, it's going to... Seeking knowledge doesn't come easy. It comes with many trials and tribulations. It comes with many sacrifices, many difficulties. So when the ulama, they explain this hadith, they say that seeking knowledge, when you're treading the path of seeking knowledge, the end result is that you want to get close to Allah because you want to attain Jannah. But what did the Prophet ﷺ say explaining the hadith of Jannah? What did he say? He said, حُفَّتِ الْجَنَّةِ بِالْمَكَارِهِ وقال أو كما قالوا حفت النار بالشهوات. That the hellfire, what surrounds the hellfire, if you want to give in to your nafs, you want to give in and just be relaxed and just chill and do whatever you want to do and just worship your desires, then Jahannam is like that. That's what's waiting for you, Jahannam. May Allah Azza wa Jal save us all from Jahannam. That حفت النار بالشهوات, that what surrounds the hellfire are desires. And when Jibreel alayhi salam, he went and he saw Jannah and Jahannam, he said that most of the people would enter this, meaning they'll enter the fire. And then when he saw that which surrounds Jannah, وَحُفَّتِ الْجَنَّةِ بِالْمَكَارِهِ, things that are disliked, meaning it's something, makarih is almost as if it's difficult for your nafs to do. Your nafs doesn't like it to wake up to pray fajr, to wake up to pray salah, to wake up to fast, to leave off something, to make wudu, to constantly read the Quran, to constantly be in the masajid in place of dhikr, to constantly see something and then you turn your eyes away from it. You're constantly, that which your nafs wants to do, you're disliking it. You're pushing it away from yourself. You're distancing yourself from the shaitan, from sins. So that which is surrounded by Jannah is this, that you have to fight. You're fighting your inner soul. It's a constant battle until you meet your Lord. Not even on your deathbed, but rather until you meet your Lord. حتى يأتيهم يقين. Meaning until you meet your Lord, until the ajal comes to you. So meaning that seeking knowledge is a beautiful thing. It's something of sharaf. Because Allah Azza wa Jal has placed those that have knowledge above those that don't have knowledge. Okay? So going back to the explanation, they say that seeking knowledge comes with many trials and tribulations, but it's beautiful. However, don't think it's going to be an easy path. Don't think it's going to be something just like that. Many people wish, you know what, I want to seek knowledge, man. I want to learn Arabic. I want to learn Quran. I want to be a scholar. But they don't know. What they want to do is they want to get the certificate. Metaphorically, they want to get the certificate, but they don't actually want to go to university for it. They don't actually want to study, sacrifice hours and all that. They just want to see the end. They just want to reach the end. It's almost as if you're running a marathon and you look at the start of the marathon and you're like, you know what, can I just skip and can you just give me the gold medal already? That's what they want to do, most people. So that's not what seeking knowledge is, and that's not how it is. It doesn't go like that. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, and all those watching the video. I sincerely apologize for interrupting the video that you're watching. I pray inshallah that you're all and you're benefiting from the video. Quick small reminder, MSL Madinah Student Life is calling you to aid us with regards to that which you can. Support the cause for MSL in order for us to be able to create better content, to be able to provide more materials, leaflets, books, and that which will benefit the Ummah and spread Islam. Hit the link below, spread it to your friends and family via PayPal, support the cause, Abdullah ibn Khamis via PayPal, support the cause and make sure you get the reward in this blessed month of Ramadan, and outside of the month of Ramadan, carry on supporting for MSL so that we can carry on benefiting the Ummah. Assalamu alaikum. Carry on enjoying the video. Assalamu alaikum. So those that are treading that path, seeking knowledge, wallahi, it's not going to be easy. It is not easy. I don't want to come here and just, start speaking to you all just lying through my teeth, because there's no point. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I want to just speak facts. I want to just say reality, because seeking knowledge is not something that is going to be easy. So hence, the reason why I mentioned all of that which I mentioned in the beginning is just to give you an insight as to what the ulama they say. Like specifically, I remember Shaykh Abbad explaining Sahih Muslim. He used to mention many times that hadith, when it would come up, he goes, "Al-ilm la yati bi rahat al-jasad." I remember when he would explain that, and he would say, "Yani la yati bil, you don't find that seeking knowledge, you're going to find roses in front of you, people putting petals and roses and flowers and a red carpet lined out for you, and then you're going to just people are going to pave the way for you and just show you the way and guide you." No, he said that yati bil-ta'ab wal mashaqqa wa bil-jidd wa bil-ijtihad. It comes with, being tired. It comes with great strive and determination, diligence. It comes with, sacrifices. Seeking knowledge is not easy. Specifically more so for those that live in the West. And why I say that, because, and now I'm going to get into my topic, is because many of the brothers that I know, that I met, that are not from the West. And I'm not saying it's just the West that we find it the most difficult. No, I'm saying specifically those that are married, okay, and have wives and children that they leave back home in the West. For those that have come from Muslim countries, or maybe come from Africa or Asia, where they can leave their wives and children within a Muslim society or within a family-oriented place, it's very easy for them. But now comparing those brothers, like for a brother that lives in Gambia, or a brother that lives in the Maldives, or a brother that lives in Pakistan and Bangladesh and, Uganda and Somalia, compare those brothers that live in environments where even if it wasn't fully Muslim country, but their family are all in that country, it's not going to be the same as to a brother that, for example, is coming from America or coming from London or Australia, and they've married two sisters that not all their family members are around them. So meaning they are the only means of, having a shelter. When the husband leaves, there's no more shelter. It's not the same. But in terms of income, they can't provide for themselves. They're not working sisters. They got maybe 3 kids, 2 kids. It's not the same. So therefore, it becomes much, much harder. It becomes much, much harder, brothers and sisters. So hence why the message is to all the sisters that are wanting to bring their wanting to get married to students of knowledge. Don't think, oh sisters, that it's going to come easy. Don't think that you're going to just live a blissful life and I'm going to get married to my husband and we're going to start reading Sahih Bukhari together. I'm going to cuddle up with him on the sofa and we're going to have tea and we're going to cuddle up together and read Sahih Bukhari and listen to a lesson and go to the haram and walk together and hold hands and then go to one of the restaurants and have a shake together in the night time and just sit and watch the sunset and the sunrise and watch the moon and start. No, sister. You're living in La La Land. That's not what it is. I'm just telling you facts. That's not what it is. That's not what you're getting yourself into. I'm not saying don't. I'm just trying to inform you of what you need to be aware of beforehand, before you actually go and be like, okay, you know what, I'm going to marry this brother. Number one, the thing that you should be aware of is that you need to realize that seeking knowledge means that he's going to have to sacrifice a lot of hours inside the university, from morning, which usually starts at 7, but now I believe is 8 o'clock. My times it was 7:30, but now it's probably 8 o'clock until Dhuhr time. So within those hours, within that time frame, you're going to be alone by yourself. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. I'm just trying to let you know that if you are sincere and you actually want this reward, because you will be rewarded. You know, you're going to get lots of reward. It's going to be immense. And look, I'm telling you this straight. All those brothers listening, by Allah, the sisters that go out and support their husbands from beginning till end, they need to get more than that which the brothers get in graduating. I'm telling you the truth, because wallahi, that which they go through, that which they endure, those hours, those, you know, spent by themselves, you know, emotional state, and them going through all of that, sacrificing, being away from family, just being in between four walls within those time when this husband is sitting inside the university, all the scholars, wallahi, they need to get more than just shahadat from the Jamia. They need to be recognized. And I salute all those sisters, and wallahi, respect goes out to all those sisters that have actually been there from the beginning until the end for their husband studying, or even just a short portion of time. Wallahi, yani, may Allah Azza wa Jal increase you more in this dunya and the akhirah. Because it's difficult. I can't imagine sitting at home waiting for someone to come back and I'm just there bored of my head. It's difficult. So number one, you have to realize, sisters, that they're going to need to spend a lot of time actually studying. Now, before I carry on, and I've done this already before, but I'll do it again. You know, وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, as Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in the Quran. You know, remind the believers, as verily the reminders benefit the believers. Brothers, when you go out there and you take your wives and you're there studying, wallahi, you're going to answer to Allah Azza wa Jal on the Day of Judgment. If you don't treat your wife with respect, if you don't treat your wife with any sort of care in the world, and you leave her in those four walls, literally just, if you leave her in that place where you've rented from morning, and then you come back, you spend a little, like an hour, and then you go out and you come back in the night time, meaning she only sees you for like 1 hour during the day, and then in the night time you're tired and she hasn't left the house at all to even breathe or to go for a fresh air. Wallahi, you're going to be questionable on the Day of Judgment. I know sisters, okay? I personally know sisters of those that they've been victim to that, meaning they were just left and abandoned. They were brought to Saudi Arabia, Medina, and I don't know what their husbands told them, but all I know is that they were left and they weren't given any sort of attention. They weren't treated in any sort of respect or good manner that they should have been treated. And wallahi, because of that, it caused them to ask for a divorce. Okay, and not just that, many of them, they suffered from certain things, depression, stress, anxiety. I don't know what they went through, but I know that many of them even fell short in their deen. May Allah Azza wa Jal guide them back to the deen and make them be better than that which they were. So brothers, you're going to be questionable because sisters go through crazy things. And hence why I'm saying, brothers, when you're there and you're wanting to tread that path, don't be no hypocrite. Don't be a munafiq. Be sincere. Kun ala al-jidd. Have ikhlas, have sincerity. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't show to the people that you're this sort of da'i and you have this, memorized this, and you've completed the Quran and you've sat with the scholars, but then back home, behind closed doors, you're treating your wife like she's some sort of trash. Because wallahi, you're going to be questionable on the Day of Judgment. And you're going to be questionable if she leaves off the deen. Even some, maybe Allahu alam, Allah knows best, if they apostate, it's going to be because of you. You're going to have that wizard yawm al-qiyamah. You're going to hold that big burden on the Day of Judgment, because Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Oh, you believe, save yourself and your family members for the hellfire. So you sitting and seeking knowledge and then abandoning and completely forgetting about your wife. And I'm talking about brothers that they go to the Jamia, they study, they benefit, they sit with the ulama and what have you. Then afterwards, instead of come back to their family members, instead of spending time with them, instead of actually revising with them that which they've benefited, what are they doing? They're sitting in the cafes until 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning with the brothers, with the ikhwa. They're sitting and chilling and gossiping and, tale carrying and backbiting. They're not doing anything beneficial. 3 o'clock in the morning, you're telling me you're revising? Ittaqullah fi anfusikum, ayyuha al-rijal. Fear Allah the Almighty. I don't even know if I should call you men. You're cowards and you're boys by doing that. You're causing so much harm upon the sisters that have sacrificed, wanting to actually get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, and you've made them go further away from the deen of Al-Islam, the beautiful religion which teaches us to be gentle. As the Prophet ﷺ says in authentic hadith, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِكُمْ وَأَنَا خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِي. And the best of you are those that are good to their family members, and I am good and I am from the best to my family members. As the Prophet ﷺ says also in authentic hadith, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. Verily, I've been sent down to perfect mannerisms. So how dare you take someone else's daughter, someone else's sister, someone else's niece, from their household, you marry them and you sell them dreams, and then you take them to Medina or Saudi or anywhere else in Egypt or whatever, and you just leave them. You literally treat them like as if they're some sort of statue. And you come back and then you demand from them sexual relationship from them. What kind of man are you? Wallahi ma adri ayna yani dhahabat uqul an-nas. I don't know where the mindsets of people have gone. These men, I can't even call them men, cowards and boys. And then on top of that, and I'm speaking facts, whether you like it or not. I speak, wallahi al-azim, I have one qa'idah in my life. I speak the truth, whether it's for me or against me. I don't care. The men, the brothers that are so-called seeking knowledge, they're called du'at, that you see them, they're seeking knowledge, and you see them in the masajid, maybe leading tarawih, maybe giving durus, what have you. Some of them, wallahi, sa fasad. Some of them are beating their wives inside their households. Women beaters. Sisters suffer from domestic abuse, from violence, from so-called men. Let alone those that are juhal, that have no knowledge. How dare you? And you're saying you're learning a hadith and Quran and Sunnah, and then you do such a thing. إخواني اتقوا الله في أنفسكم ستقف أمام ربك يوم القيامة. You're going to stand, fear Allah the Almighty, you're going to stand in front of your Lord on the day of judgment. You're going to stand in front of your Lord. What are you going to say then? What are you going to say then? I was seeking knowledge? That's not seeking knowledge. You don't even have to treat a woman with respect and dignity and honor. Wallahi, angers me. And I'm only angry because of for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Because I know and you know that Allah Azza wa Jal does not like such a manner. If you call yourself a man, come and take me in the ring. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. May Allah Azza wa Jal forgive me for my anger, but wallahi, angers me. Men, they don't have no sense of manhood in them. That you're going to you're going to put your hands on a woman. Yani, where have you gone? Where have you gone in your mindset? You must be some big coward to do such a thing. That you're going to put your hands on your wife, on someone else's daughter, someone else's niece, someone else's granddaughter, someone else's sibling. That's a human being. But yet, you see them, Sufuf al-Awwal, in the front line you will see them. You will see them leading Tarawih. You will see them making so many videos and what have you, and posts and what have you on social media. And they're putting their hands back home. They're some sort of lion, fearsome lion, putting their hands on their wives. Some of them even their kids. And this is the message for all of those. I know I've gone off topic, but this is a message for all those women beaters. You're cowards. That's what you are. You're a coward. Nothing but a coward. Because you wouldn't do such a thing if you were a true man. Because you know that this is completely against the hadi of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This is completely against the guidance, and this is not the way the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was. But rather he was rafiq. He was halim. He was gentle. He was kind. He never had such a thing within him. He had the most upright character and morals. He was never like that. He wasn't any sort of narcissist. Some of them they're narcissists, some of them they're... Wallahi al-azim, brothers, any one of you that does that, you need to fear Allah. And you know, Yawm al-Qiyamah, on the day of judgment, you're going to stand in front of your Lord. Al-Dhulm, Dhulumat, Yawm al-Qiyamah. As Allah mentions in the Hadith Qudsi, Inni harramtu al-Dhulma ala nafsi. I have made al-Dhulm, oppression, haram on myself. وَجَعَلْتُهُ حَرَامًا بَيْنَكُمْ. And I've made it haram amongst you, i.e. my servants. فَلَا تَظَالِمُوا. So do not oppress. Al-Dhulm, Dhulumat, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Tara Yawm al-Qiyamah, not a single one of us is going to be left alone. So fear Allah Azza wa Jal. You say that you're seeking knowledge. If you do it, then leave it off. If you beat your woman, if you treat them bad, if you abandon them, stop today. When the month of Ramadan, stop. When are you going to stop? You're not going to get away with it. If you've got issues from your childhood, if you've got psychological, mental issues, if you're suffering with things, because many brothers, that's what it is. Everything stems off childhood. Many people are going through stuff. Maybe you're going through anger, emotion. Maybe you were hit when you were young from your parents or someone else. Don't do it upon someone else. Seek therapy from brothers. Many brothers that are skilled, and there's many brothers that have qualifications that are therapists. Many people give therapy. If you want, come and speak to me. I'll speak to you about it. No problem. I've got no issue. My doors are open to any brother that needs any sort of advice with regards to this. If you don't know how to exercise your strength when you go to the gym, if you don't know how to exercise whatever you've got, come and speak to me or speak to someone else that you see, befitting. But don't exercise your strength and your anger and your frustration and your childhood, that which you've gone through, onto your fragile wife. That's a woman, subhanallah. As is mentioned in the hadith, فَاسْتَوْصُوا بِالنِّسَاءِ استحللت عليكم فروجهن بكلمة الله. Allah Azza wa Jal made halal by the words of Allah Azza wa Jal that you to have relations with them. فاستوصوا بالنساء كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إنهن خلقنا من ضلع. They have been created from a rib cage, and it's a'waj, it's the most crooked part, meaning they're fragile, they're feeble, they're weak. But don't abuse them. Don't take advantage of them. Wallahi, be kind to your woman and you see so much success. So back to the topic. Brothers, you have to make sure you take time out. The timetable is so, there could be so much barakah if you give to your family members, your wife and your children. When you go out to the jamia, come back home. As I've mentioned this already, I don't think I need to go into it, but just quickly, when you do wake up in the morning, have breakfast with your family members, and then go out to the jamia. And then you come back for dhuhr, have lunch with them, ghada, and then take rest. And then take them with you to the haram. Why are you picking up brothers? Why are you taking brothers to the haram when you've got 4 kids, 3 kids, 2 kids and a wife in your household? Take them to the haram, ya akhi. Wallahi, take them to the haram. You're going to benefit and they're going to benefit, and on the day of judgment you're going to get rewarded for it. كُلُّكُمْ رَاعٍ وَكُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. Each and every one of you is responsible for his folk, and all of you are going to be questionable. You're all responsible. So take them to the haram. Don't take your friends. Your friends, they can get a taxi, akhi. Utrukum. Leave them. They can get a taxi. Don't make your friends that are bachelors, that are single, make you deviate, or those that don't have family, make you have friction between you and your household. Forget all of that, brothers, and taking them to the haram. Yeah, it's khair if maybe your family says she doesn't want to come, or your children don't want to come. Even if your family don't want to come, take your children to the haram. Wallahi, I remember, I'm not even talking about myself, but wallahi, I remember I used to take my kids to the haram. And wallahi, look, I'm not saying this for anything, because wallahi, أنا من أضعف الناس. I'm from the weakest. I'm lesser than each and every one of you watching this video. And may Allah Azza wa Jal forgive me. Make dua for me, brothers and sisters. Wallahi, I'm saying this because I love you for the sake of Allah. So please don't forget me in your du'as. Wallahi, I remember I used to take my children, subhanallah, to the haram. And wallahi, up until this day, they remind me, they're like, Baba, do you remember when we used to go to the haram? And wallahi, I sometimes look at them and I start smiling and I say, Alhamdulilah Rabbil Alameen, that Allah bless me and enable me to do that, because I'm planting, I'm trying to plant a whole farm out here. I'm trying to plant seeds in their young lives, so that inshallah when I die and I meet my Lord, inshallah they remember that which I did for them. And inshallah, I ask Allah to accept it. And inshallah, hopefully, it's of some sort of khair. The fact that they remember that they used to go to, these are the stuff that you want. These are the things that you want, because wallahi, your children will be the ones to make dua for. Those friends that you have, maybe 5 years down the line, they're not even going to contact you. And they would have caused harm within maybe 3-4 weeks of you, or 4 months, or 6 years, you taking them to the haram all the time and leaving your family members. And then making excuses, saying, but he doesn't have a ride, but this, but that, even though she's asking you to go to the haram. And she wants to benefit. And we see our mashaykh taking their wives to the haram. So, and one other thing as well, don't be from those that compares. I remember one of the brothers reminded me that one of his sheikh told him in a class, he said, it's wrong to see so many brothers from the West, they bring their wives to a place like this, a place of greenery. They take them from, parks and nice atmosphere and good sense of, things to do. And then they bring them to Madinah to study all elsewhere in the heat. Literally, it's baking out there. Allahumma barik, mashallah. They bring them to such a place and then they leave them in the household. I remember the sheikh was saying to the brother, saying, I don't understand you men, how you think that this can work. How you think they're going to like it after a couple of years, being left in a house not doing anything. And then the Sheikh went on to mention that you need to take your wife out to malls, to places, to restaurants, go out different cities, explore, because this is not their place of residence. And it's difficult for them. You've brought them to a place that is of like a desert, no man's land. I'm not saying it's like that literally, but more or less, it's hot, it's scorching outside. And then you're gonna bring them from a place of, comfort. This is not the way. So the Sheikh was literally going in about that, saying that many brothers come and complain, I've got problems with my wife and this and that. And we ask them a couple of questions, then you realize that they're the cause of the problem. So brothers, don't be from those that leave your wives, within just literally 24/7 locked inside the house. And then some brothers, they even get houses, and that's another advice I give, never, ever, ever rent basement. All the brothers, and if you're a wife, try and advise your husband, and I'm telling the husbands, don't rent basement. Why? Because and I know a brother, it affected his wife and children. Up until today, he tells me my wife and children have been affected. Because there's no son that can get to the basement, no matter how much the landlord would tell you. Alhamdulillah, I've gotten so much knowledge regarding houses. I've lived in so many different places within Medina. So I know, I'm not talking through my thought or opinion, I'm talking through experience. Never take basement. It's the worst that you can have from the apartments. Why? Because of the fact that it is not getting that sun. So therefore, they're not going to get the vitamins that they need. Make sure, brothers, that you're not leaving your wives from morning until evening. As I said, when you come back, you take them to the haram before you go for Asr. And then if they don't want to come, no problem. As soon as you finish from the haram or sitting with the Sheikh, go straight back, hasten towards your family members. And then go back. And then I'm telling you from a timetable, inshallah, that you can benefit. Every single Friday, make it a day for family. Take them with you Jum'ah if they want to come. And we know the Hadith of Sallam said, do not stop them from what? Going to the masjid. Even though we know the house is better for them and they're going to get more reward, don't stop them. Make a Friday a day for family. Wallahi, I remember when I was in Madinah, I used to have a day for family. And my day was Friday. All the brothers that know me, they knew Friday, you're not going to get Abdullah, you're not going to reach me. Call me, I'm probably not going to pick up. Because that's the day for my family. I've had Sunday to Thursday, dirasa and what have you. Friday is my day for family. I'm not answering your call. I don't care who you are. I don't care how close you are to me. I don't care what you need. Friday, ma'alish, I'm unavailable. إن الهاتف المطلوب لا يمكن اتصاله به الآن. As I remember the message would say that this number you're trying to reach, you can't reach it. Now that was me on a Friday. And Friday will start from morning, Jum'ah. I remember I will go with my family to Jum'ah, wherever I'm going. Unless they couldn't make it. I'll go with them. Friday, Jum'ah, that's it. When we come back, we're going to go for lunch. We're going to go somewhere nice, mashallah. That's Friday. I'm treating them to somewhere nice. That you've endured all of that week of, difficulty and patience and whatnot, not seeing me a lot. Friday's our day. And then when we finish, we go somewhere else. And then I remember Fridays will be a day where I play football with the brothers, with the ikhwa. So that will be after Isha, and I'll only be after Isha. So meaning, and I'll make sure, and look at this, brothers, just try and do something like this. If you're going to meet someone else, try and see that you can have friends that have wives as well, so they can also link and they can build a community. So when I would go football, I would make sure I drop my wife to see her friends and her group of circles. And that will be a time when I know I'm going to be chilling with the brothers, but at the same time, my wife is chilling with sisters. So I'm trying to be just. Because wallahi, you're not going to find anything but khair if you know you're enjoying and your wife is enjoying. I wouldn't feel right as a person, as a husband, as a father, that I'm enjoying myself and then my children and my wife is at home doing nothing. And I'm going to, of course, come back a bit late because it's just football, an hour and a half. And another thing, brothers, if you're going to go for a shake, when you come back, you're going to get rewarded for it. Wallah, I'm not telling you to do much. If you go for a shake with the ikhwa, bring a shake back for the kids and a wife. You're not going to lose nothing. Bring a shake back for the kids and a wife. So, I remember Saturday will be a day where same thing. Saturday will be like half day for family, but mainly it will be for revision or doing anything else I needed to do. Or maybe Saturday will be a day where I babysit. So then she has sisters day out, girls day out. So you can do that. So now you're letting her be free from the children. You need to have a timetable when you do these kind of things. Wallahi, it's important. She's only a human being. She's your wife and she's the mother of the children. Yeah, but she's a human being as well. She needs to socialize. She needs to have friends. You can't just leave her by herself and to fend for herself and that's it. She's not going to have any sort of fun. So Saturday, I remember, will be a day where if I had the capability or if they would link up with the sisters, if she would ask me so, istiraha, whatever, I'll be with my children. and I'll relieve her from all the children now, and now it'll be a Father's Day. So it'll be a day where me and my children can just come and they can just completely climb over me and do whatever they want. We can go, I can treat them to a fun fair, I can take them to a fun fair, have ice cream, you know, the beautiful junk that the kids like, Burger King, McDonald's, KFC, whatever it may be. But I tried to make it fun. So I'm telling you, brothers, wallahi, because I'm seeing it today. Alhamdulilah, Rabbil Alameen. May Allah accept it and protect us all from evil. But I know for a fact that you would love it and you're going to see your family is going to thank you. That's all she's going to remember. She's going to remember so many good times. And your children as well, same thing. You want your wife and children to remember. I'll be like, you know what? Wallahi, I love that place. You want their hearts to be attached to the Muslim countries. Not saying, oh, I couldn't wait to get out. I was bored off my head. Now, for the sisters, and I can go on, and inshallah I'll make another video specifically for this because I think it's never going to be enough. Brothers, and one could say, okay, but how am I going to balance my time and this? It's very simple. I've just given you a quick sketch of how your timetable should be like. And of course, when you do come back on a Saturday after Maghrib, make that time to be like, you know what, Habibati, my wife, my beloved, darling, my honey, I need to go. I love you so much, but I just need to be in a maktab. I need to be in a library for a good 2 hours. And then use that time to revise. Or maybe go to the haram or whatever you need to be. And then you're going to revise like what you need to do for your week, that week, inshallah. Now for the sisters, it's not easy. Wallahi, it's not easy. Being a wife of a husband, it's not easy. Many of you maybe come from comfortable household. Maybe you come from a wealthy background and then you're going to marry a brother who is not going to be working. That's the reality. Number one, he's not going to be working. So now you need to think about, okay, how is he going to be able to provide for me? Now, that's something I can't answer for you because I'm telling you he can't work, okay? Unless he lives in Riyadh or Jeddah or Mecca, which are the places that generally speaking, they can find work. In Medina specifically, it's more or less impossible with regards to working within the institutes and universities there. They require you to be under the kafala. But in Riyadh, I know for a fact, Mecca, Jeddah, they can find work easily as they're studying. It's a bit more flexible and it's a bit more open. And it's a bit more, it's much 110% easier. And I know for a fact, because I'm speaking through experience. So number one, they're not going to be able to fend for you in terms of you're not going to live that life where, it's la-di-da, this, that, we're going to go on honeymoons, we're going to go on holidays. No. It's not the same as if you're married to someone that's living in the place where you get married. Seeking knowledge is difficult. They're going to sacrifice so many hours. So you need to now bear in mind, should I hasten toward marrying someone that's seeking knowledge, or am I really sincere as well? Because if you're sincere and you're going to be able to strive and be patient, then wallahi, you will find nothing but success. At the end of the journey, at the end of that road, you're going to benefit. You're going to benefit immensely without a doubt. But in the beginning, it's difficult to support him. How are you going to be patient? You need to make dua to Allah the Almighty, and you need to be sincere, and you need to carry on making dua, and you need to realize that seeking knowledge is not something easy. From the Anbiya, Aisha radiallahu anha, Khadija, and all of his wives, they went through so much because they were married to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because he was calling to the truth. Anyone that's upon the tariqah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or the Anbiya, anyone that's upon that path, they're going to find so many difficulties. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in authentic hadith, "Inna ashadda an-nas ibtila'an al-anbiya, thumma al-amthal fal-amthal." The people that are tried the most are the prophets, and those that come after them and follow them, and then those that follow them. So your husband seeking knowledge is something that's beautiful. It's something that's looked up upon, and it's something that's respected, and people honor people that seek knowledge. Is something great. To be a wife of someone seeking knowledge is even greater, I would say, because you're supporting someone in that cause. Okay, but it's not easy. So don't be fooled by the pen and the Arabic and what have you. No, it's not easy, and every single person is difficult. Now I'm saying this to you because I'm not trying to put you off, but I'm trying to give you reality. I'm not sugarcoating anything. Like I said, I speak the truth. So you need to now do your due diligence and your research, and you need to, make sure you actually find out about this person that you're going to get married. Is he putting on a facade? Is he just wearing a kufi and a thobe and that's it? And a pen, but yet he's a horrible man? You need to ask people that know him, not people that are friends with him in the community, not people that just know him in the masjid and see him because that's the apparent. You need to ask people that have traveled with him. And this is generally for marriage in general. You need to ask people that have traveled with him, that have been with him, that have, done business with him. People that actually have seen him without that whole, image. And that's very, very important, because then you're going to know who you're going to get married to. And I always say to the sisters and brothers, always pray Salatul Istikhara. Okay, always pray, and don't forget to do the prayer of consultation when you consult Allah the Almighty. He is your Lord Jalla Jalalu. Put your trust in Allah, of course. I'm not saying to you to just I'm not stereotyping everyone. And wallahi, this message that I said, what I said earlier, not every brother's like that. Many brothers, there's khair in them, of course. I'm not saying this to everyone. I'm just saying to you, this does happen. So don't be like, shocked, because sisters, some of them, they get shocked. I didn't know it was like this. Well, you should have done your research. Don't think that everything is the way it seems. They say the grass is greener on the other side, but before you get to the other side, you may suffer a lot. So point being is that in order for you to be successful in terms of you marrying a brother that's seeking knowledge and to be his wife, is that you need to make sure you're sincere. Many sisters, they say they want to get married to students of knowledge, but it's just all a front. It's just all a hype. A lot of times I've noticed now the deen has become a hype. Deen has become culture. Deen has become something that we just utter upon our tongues, but there's no action. And that's dangerous. That's scary. So you need to be sincere as a sister. You need to be sincere and know that, okay, I'm going to seek knowledge. I want to also learn the religion, so I want to marry someone who's also on that path. If you do want to marry someone upon that path, you need to realize that, okay, yes, it's good, but you need to also know what you're getting yourself into. It's not just a red carpet going to be thrown at you, and then you're going to be walking on the red carpet, and you're going to get paparazzi taking pictures of you. It's not like that, okay? It's never like that. Even for that type of industry, it's not the same. So many things are going to go through that are going to be difficult. So therefore, if you're sincere and you're doing it for the sake of Allah the Almighty, and you make dua, then of course, without a doubt, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, you're going to enjoy the journey. It's going to be ups and downs. And I'll give you some simple examples. There's going to be times when maybe your husband doesn't have enough in terms of, just generally enough money. And things are now more expensive than when I left, and I only left a couple of years ago. It's not even been like 3 years, not even that. So it's very, very difficult. Things have gone up in terms of benzene, in terms of the petrol, in terms of, in terms of the groceries, in terms of rent. The bills went up. I entered Saudi when things were like 7 riyal for rubu' shawaya. Now it's like 15 or even 20, I should say. So it's gone more than double. When a quarter pound chicken used to be like 7 riyal. That was my times in the beginning, So things have gone up. When I remember my electricity bill for the whole year will be like 150 riyal. Even that I think will be too much. I think it'll be way less than that. I left Medina, I remember, just for a couple of months, like 900 riyal. I'm telling you facts, sisters and brothers. 900 riyal. So point being is that things have changed. Things have changed drastically all over the world. So now you're going to a place, and one thing you have to remember, Saudi Arabia or any of these countries are not like the West, where if you're struggling, you go on what they call JSA or universal credit or income, some sort of support from the government. There is no support. Okay. Number one, no, the university don't look after you. No, they don't look after you. Okay. They don't look after you. Wherever you may be, there's no sort of like support. There used to be jam'iyyat khairiyya and stuff like that, but even that now, it came to a stop way before I even graduated. So things have changed. So if your husband is struggling, you're going to struggle. It's going to be tough. I'm trying to just prepare you for the worst case scenario. And inshallah, you won't suffer any of these things, or you won't go through them. But it's best to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. As some of the Salaf will say, that would be the best thing, because then you're not going to have a sadma. You're not going to have that shock, and you're going to be like, okay, you know what? I want completely out of this. I want to quit. It's a wrap. Let's go. No, you're going to want to carry on because you knew what you got yourself into. You're going to persevere. Okay? Because there are going to be situations where your husband will be in a predicament where he's struggling financially. And I think that's the biggest thing that, for a man, it's not nice at all to be, financially unstable. It's very difficult because, it makes you feel like, you're a loser, or it should anyway. If it doesn't, then something you need to check yourself. Wallah, you need to check yourself. But if you're, financially unstable, then you would feel like you're a failure to your family, to your wife, your children, because obviously you're supposed to be the man, you're supposed to be the provider after Allah the Almighty. So hence why it's important for the sisters to realize that there's going to be times when maybe you don't even have a car, you don't have a means of transportation, you're just getting taxis everywhere. And even that is difficult because your husband doesn't have enough change in his wallet. So you need to make sincerity, wallahi, it helps so much. When someone's insincere, it brings them, it takes them miles away. It takes them miles away. They're able to get through so much. Why? Because they know, as Ibn Qayyim mentions, and this is something that I think is very, very important. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَبْتَلِيَ الْمُؤْمِنِ لِكَيْ يُهْلِكَهُ. Allah the Almighty does not put a trial or a servant to a test in order to send them to destruction. No. لكن يبتلي المؤمن لكي يمتحن صبره. But rather he puts a believer to a try in order to test their patience. And subhanAllah, this is something that I believe is so profound. You can use it for your day-to-day life in anything. You're never going to get put through a test or a trial because Allah wants shar for you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. نحن لا نصف الشر إلى الله. We don't ever attribute any sort of evil to Allah the Almighty, because He is Kamal. He is perfect, and He is the most just, and He is the most merciful. Okay? But rather, we should know it's for a reason. What happens to us is for a hikmah. And that's something that's so profound and great. And the ayah of Allah Azza wa Jalla supports the statement. As Allah mentions in the Quran, Alif Lam Mim. أَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Alif Lam Mim. Do the people believe? Do they think that they will say that I believe? يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا. We believe. وَهُمْ لَا, without them being put to trial and test? Impossible. You know? And in that surah, Allah mentions, subhanallah, that min qablikum, you know, that just those that came before you, put them to the test. Okay? لِيَعْلَمَ الصَّادِقِينَ, so that we can know who are truthful one and who are the kadhibin, who are the ones that Allah is. Allah needs to know. Allah already knows, of course, without a doubt. You know, we know that His ilm, we already know that He knows what's going to happen and what happened and what will happen if it didn't happen, and what isn't going to happen if it happens. Point being is that Allah Azza wa Jal puts you to a test in order to test the believers, to see which one. ليعلم أيكم أحسن عملا. Okay, ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. عفوا, ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. In Surah Al-Mulk, when Allah mentions that to test, Allah puts His servants to test to see which one are better in good deeds. ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. Allahu Akbar. So you need to realize, sister, is that marrying a brother seeking knowledge, he may have to go out and stay in the haram, for example, a couple of hours, specifically the time of ikhtibarat. There's a specific time before the major exams or the midterm exams, as they call them. They have like a week period or 2-week period where they're going to be really busy. And I remember my times as well, I would be so busy. It's like, I don't have time to eat. I don't have time to, you know, conversate with my wife and children, like meaning like chill and play. I'm just stressed because I'm doing my exam. Obviously, I'm a person, I don't really get stressed for exams. That's just me, my character. I don't really stress out like brothers do. But point being is that, Alhamdulilah, that brothers will get stressed. You know, it'll be strenuous, it'll be, you know, sleepless nights, and it's like they don't have time. And I remember, may Allah Azza wa Jalla reward my wife and my children, and all those wives and children that have, you know, been there, done that, or are doing it now, or will do it. May Allah reward you all and grant you success. That it's difficult because, you know, it's like the wife would want to go out, they want to do certain things, maybe they want to buy something. It's like, but you don't have time. You're taking them to the shops, you're busy reading your, you know, mudhakkira or the book, you know, you're so busy, you're engrossed in that because you know, you've got an exam or you've got something, you don't want to fail, you don't want to, you know, you want to do well. But it's something that the wife needs to know, okay, what do I do in that time? What you should do is be patient. Okay, realize that your husband is there because they really want to achieve something, but you have to constantly, and I remember as well that something that's important, that it's known that everyone should do it as well. Okay, we don't even have to say to provide evidence for it. It's something that you should do. Always remind your husbands to be sincere for that which they're doing. That's something that you can also help them by reminding them that they need to be sincere. When they're doing the exams, tell them you're not doing it in order to pass, but rather you should do it in order to seek knowledge, to get close to Allah. So they need to realize as well that they need to also be sincere in their approach, in the way they're revising, in the way they're studying, in the way they're doing their things that they're doing. They need to be sincere. And also something that does help is that you need to, let's say for example, you know, and that's something, once again, it goes back down to the husband in terms of if you involve your wife and she learns Arabic, she learns Arabic, which she should have done after 2 years. She should know Arabic. She should be able to read your books that you're reading, which is also a sign that, you know, you've been a good so-called da'i, not just someone that's on the camera or someone that's just, you know, teaching the people, but yet your wife doesn't even know alif, ba, ta, tha, and your kids don't know either. So point being is that if you're now at the stage where your wife knows Arabic, how you can help, oh sister, is that you can help by saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to help you, and I'm going to go through the mudhakkira with you. I'm going to go through the book. I'm going to ask you some questions of that which you revised to see that, you know, he's understood what he's revised. So come for the exam, you'll be able, and you could do this in a nice romantic way. You can go out, you can go, outside of Medina, you can go to the haram and sit on the saha. Maybe you can do it in your household. I don't know. You can go up in somewhere up high in Jabal Uhud and do it in a nice park. It can be nice. You can, and I remember it's like, you don't have to make it so, you don't have to make it so, what's the word I'm looking for? Subhanallah. It doesn't have to be like strategically planned out or very much in a syllabus educational kind of environment. No, it can be in a nice environment. Of course, some brothers, I remember one brother specifically, he was not able to revise except that he's in a library with silence. So that could be the case. If your husband can't do what I'm going to say, which is you can go to the park, and I remember the park that was nice, Jabal Uhud Park, up in the mountains in a nice park. You could take some nice tea and maybe some milkshakes for the kids and some nice, refreshments and food and whatever. Have a picnic and revise, and the kids can play and your wife is in an environment. At least you're killing three stones in one, as I say. You're literally doing three things in one go. You're going and you're revising, which is the main thing, which is what you need to do. You've got exam next week. Your kids are playing in the park. Alhamdulillah, you've given time while you're taking them to the park. Your wife is in a nice environment where she's, breathing the air. She's not breathing the walls and the paint inside the household, So you're doing things that, wallahi, you're going to see the khair in it afterwards. So that's another thing as well, sisters, that, try and tell your husband, if you can do that, that's good. If he can't do that, then just help him and give him time. But at the same time, there is no harm in you requesting from him to give you a day in a week, even if he's got that busy week of revision and what have you. If he can't do it in that week, at least the next week where he gives you a day, and you go out somewhere. And then one thing as well that you should do, husbands, is that once you finish that exam, instead of going once again with the bachelor single brothers that are going to waste your time and doing nothing. I know brothers that used to go to Mecca, they used to go Umrah with their friends, and their wife has never been Umrah. They're going Yambu', they're going Jeddah, they're going snorkeling, scuba diving and stuff, and their wives have never even seen that part of Saudi Arabia. Taqullah, what are you doing, man? Like, fix up. Get your priorities straight. Your wife deserves that as well, more than your friend deserves it. You can do it another time with your friend, but do it then with your wife. I remember one time, I'll never forget, a brother asked me, can I do Umrah with you? I looked at the brother, I'm like, are you tripping? As the Americans would say, are you right up here? You're going to ask me to do Umrah with you? Tabarak ar-Rahman. Mziyan? Bzaf alik. As the Americans would say, I'm like, come on, akhi, man. Are you serious? You're going to ask me to do Umrah? You don't know that I'm a married man with kids? I'm not going to do Umrah with you. If I'm going to go Umrah 4 hours away, I'm going with my family, mate. Forget you, man. You can go Umrah on a coach. Go Umrah in a taxi. I'm straight like that. I don't care what you feel. Look, at the end of the day, they need to realize, look, I'm a married man. I can't be chilling with you too much, because then you're going to distract me and you're going to waste my time. Not in a bad way, wallah. I'm not saying you don't get me wrong. Listen, don't get me wrong. It's not like as if you shouldn't chill with your friends. No, I give my friends time. But when you try and now, pass over that time, I'm like, chilling with me too. That's like, come on. I'm not anyone special to be chilling with anyway, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to be doing Umrah with you and I got my family there. Like, mate, hello. So point being is that once that week is finished of you revising, then you should go out and actually take time with your wife. Now, sisters, if you you've signed up to marry a brother that's seeking knowledge, you need to be patient. You need to be patient. You need to realize that he's there and he wants to get close to Allah, and inshallah you're going to benefit, and he should be benefiting you every single day, week in, week out. And also, he will be able to benefit the community, inshallah, if Allah opens doors for him and he's able to do so. So you need to kind of be patient with him with regards to that approach. Maybe there'll be times when he'll be a bit, all over the place, and it doesn't give him the right to scream at you, to get angry. No, it doesn't give him that right. He should still be a good husband. But point being is that you need to realize that he is going through a phase where he's going to have to study in that period of week, and it's going to be very, very stressful. So you need to be patient. You need to also help out by making sure, for example, when it's time for him to go to lessons on time. That's another thing for the sisters, okay? Don't make your husband late for lessons. Men don't like to be late for the lessons, specifically like scholars' lessons or in the haram or the jamia. And that's just something that I remember. I hated being late for lessons. Okay, he may leave you if you're taking too long, getting all ready, putting your jilbab and abaya on and whatever, and doing your stuff, your women's stuff. But that's your fault if you make him late and he leaves you. Okay, I'm just going to say that. I'll give that to the brothers, okay? If your wife making you late, ma salama. But at the same time, you know, he should tell you in advance. Like, what's the best, smartest thing that a husband should do? You need to be there 8 o'clock, which means you need to leave, let's say, 7:30. Tell your wife at 5:30, Habibati, I'm giving you 30 minutes and then we need to go. Alhamdulillah, she's going to be ready by 7 o'clock. I'm telling you the truth. She's going to be ready by 7 o'clock. It's going to take her an hour and a half to get ready. Even though all she's doing is putting on a kharqa and a abaya. She's putting on a what do you call it? A abaya and a hijab and jilbab, niqab, whatever she wears, and she's going to put on a pair of trainers. It's going to take an hour and a half. That's just women. Allah alam, yani, that's their things, isn't it? So, isn't it? But just tell her in advance. But she needs to realize as well, also in terms of preparing stuff for the household, you'll be rewarded for you preparing, you know, the meals. And, you know, at the same time as well, I remember Sheikh Abdul Razak would say that one of the students, he said to him that he took a day out where he started taking the role of the wife that whole day. And he said that by the end of the day, he couldn't handle it. It was too much for him. So the Sheikh, he made a point of benefit that, you know, one should also help out and one should give time to his children and his wife and what have you. And that's something that, inshallah, he's going to be rewarded for. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ. You will be rewarded for the stuff that's mandoob, stuff that are liked, even though it's not an act of, you know, you're not actually worshipping Allah by reading Quran, but you're helping your wife or your husband or your wife or your children. You'll be rewarded for. And same with the akhawat as well. Make intention that you're doing it for the sake of Allah. Whatever you do for the sake of Allah, it's always going to remain. So point being is that you should make sure that you see to it that, you know, you cook as well and you provide for him and clean the household. Keep it, you know, upright, the household and the stuff that maintain the house and the children. And also he should help out as well, without a doubt. He should help out with this, you know, the children, and also maybe once a week, once every now and again anyway, cook. You know, that's something that's nice. It's romantic. Husbands, there's some dry brothers out there. I must be honest. There's a lot of dry brothers out there. A lot of brothers out there that don't have they've got nothing in their, you know, nothing in their sleeves. They don't have any sort of sense of romance. They need to come and study, wallah. You know, marhaban bikum. No, honestly, it's important. It's important for the brothers, they need to learn how to be with a woman. A lot of brothers, they don't actually know how to be with a woman. They don't know. Like, it's like they're lost. So you do need to learn. Don't be lost, okay? With regards to sisters, going back to the topic, something that's very, very important actually is that you need to realize that there'll be times when, you know, you're going to be away from family. I think that's one of the biggest things. I should have mentioned that earlier, but you're going to be away from family, and that means 9 months out of the time you're not going to be able to stay with family, which is very difficult, and you could be close to your family, your siblings, your parents. So you need to now realize that you're setting yourself up for 9 months each year you're going to be away from family. And then when you get kids, and as time goes on, he may not afford to be able for you to come back. So you need to think about that. All of these things you need to think about. I remember there's some sisters from Africa and what have you in different places of the world and Asia, where they didn't see their family for like 5-6 years straight. But they were patient and they loved the life there. But of course, and I used to see the husbands, they would take their time, you know, they'll be with their kids and their wives, they'll take them out. And I'm talking about people that don't have nothing. They don't have no sense of income. And they're still, you know, striving and taking their families out. You see them in the parks, you know, they're enjoying. SubhanAllah, I remember my wife told me every single institute she's gone to or college, she's always seen sisters that are not from the West. And she would think, how are they coming here? And their husbands are commuting with their wives somehow and dropping them there because their husbands want them to benefit. That's the difference. And then Westerners, they weren't as much compared to the those that are coming from Africa or Asia, you know, or Russia, those continents. So once again, it's a message that, you know, husbands, you need to be sending your wives to these places where they can benefit. So being away from family, how can you, you know, the way you're going to go about it and the way you're going to overcome it is to just, you know, have fun. Realize what you're doing is for the sake of Allah, and know that seeking knowledge is difficult, but inshallah, at the end of the journey, the grass is greener. Inshallah, at the end of that path, you're going to be rewarded. You're going to have so much fun. You're going to realize that what you've done is so much good. You're going to realize you've acquired knowledge. You've come close to Allah. You're in a place where you're closer to make umrah. That's if you're in Saudi. If you're in Egypt or anywhere else, then you're in a Muslim land. Being in a Muslim land is so beneficial. Allah Azza wa Jalla will open up doors. You know, وَمَنْ يُهَاجِرْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ يَجِدْ لَهُ مُرَاغِمًا كَثِيرًا وَسَعًا. You know, whoever leaves a place, you know, let's say your intention is hijrah or seeking knowledge, whatever it may be, then you're going to find so much things that are going to be, you can find so many bounties of Allah Azza wa Jal. You know, so point being is that don't see it, because many sisters, they see it as, oh, I'm in this place, I haven't got my iqama yet, because it's going to be difficult in the beginning. Let's say you haven't got your iqama, or you haven't got residence, you're living in Egypt, wherever it may be you're living, but you know, let's say mathalan, you're talking about Saudi Arabia, you haven't got your iqama yet, you know, healthcare is bad and you got treated bad, you know, then you compare it to the, don't let shaitan do that to you, because that's how the beginning of shaitan, yuzayyinu lakum Zuyin lahum shaitan. That's how shaitan is going to come and zuyin, like he's going to come and beautify to you the West, and he's going to, you know, make that which you're in, which is the blessing from Allah. So he's going to make it seem as if it's a, you know, horrible place. You're not in a horrible place. You're just going through difficulties. That's all it is, you know. And you're going through an emotional stage where, you know, you may have an emotional breakdown because it's like it's too much, and then just one day just like completely break down and you ask to go back. No, don't do that. Don't let shaitan get the better of you. Wallahi, sister, where you are, wallahi wa billahi wa tallahi, where you are in that place, wallahi, there's no one better than you at that moment of time. There is no better place to be than accompanying your husband and seeking knowledge and getting close to Allah Azza wa Jalla. You get rewarded for it. Just be patient, hang on in there. Wallahi, not long is left until you're going to meet your Lord. Wallahi, not long is left. So just be patient. Wallahi, just be patient. It could be just tomorrow will be your last day, and then you're going to go back to the West, to the misery, and everyone's screwing and everyone's stressed and depressed. Wallahi, look, everyone might say this is crazy, but being in the West, you go through so much. It's like you're a gorilla in a rat's house. Honestly, because it's like just everything gets to you. It's the truth. So many problems come by living in the West. But when you're in a Muslim land and you're there and you're supporting your husband, it's going to be difficult. You're going to miss family. You're going to go through things that are difficult. You're going to maybe suffer and what have you because you're away from them. You're going to miss events. You're going to miss maybe Eid celebrations. You're going to miss maybe your niece and nephew growing up and so many things. Okay, you're going to miss so many things. But what you're missing is not much. Wallahi, I used to go holiday to London and I'll come back from Saudi, go to the holiday in London. I'll see the people the way they were. I'll go the next year, I'll come back and they're still upon the same thing, in the same job, same look, they look the same. Nothing has changed. What has increased is them being more stressed. And I'm coming back from a place where I've come from Raha, the best buq'a in the whole world, Medina. So see as that. And wallahi, I can go on so long, but I believe, hopefully, inshallah, I've touched on all that which I need to touch on. And just the message is that be patient, oh sister, and know that you're getting yourself into something that may be difficult, but it's going to be khair for you. Okay, it's going to be khair for you, but just be patient and know that inshallah you're going to get rewarded. You're going to get rewarded for it without a doubt. As Allah mentions in the Quran, Inna Allah la yudhi'u ajra al-muhsinin. Allah doesn't put to waste the deeds of a good doer. Abadan. وَمَنْ تَرَكَ شَيْئًا إِلَّا عَوَّضَهُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا مِنْهُ. Whoever leaves off something for the sake of Allah, so you've left the West and you got married to this man who's seeking knowledge, Allah is going to give you something better. Allah is going to replace it with something better. So be patient and know that there's khair in it. Wassalamu alaikum. Your brother in Islam, Abdullah ibn Khamis. May Allah bless you all.